All right, hello everybody and welcome. This is live coverage tonight of the Cape Coral Gabfest, one of my favorite nets. This is a Simplex net here in Southwest Florida, and what makes it special is the fact that it's all radio to radio. And a lot of people do come in for this one and watch on YouTube so that they can hear the other stations that they're not able to hear. So hopefully we'll get some other stations in here, and also some people from outside the area can come in and at least hear it and participate with us here in the chat room. I am pulling up the chat room and the live room right now, so I'll be able to see and control what's going on here. And we are monitoring the propagation map tonight, and I am looking at that right now. Let's see here. Where did it go? There it is. The propagation map tonight looks like there's not much at all on there. Let me make sure that's refreshed properly. And we're taking a look to see, this is a Simplex net. So if there is any propagation here in Florida, especially down here in Southwest Florida, it would be helpful. But right now there's really not. There's just little bits of this and that. Nothing really major. Watching around the country, we've got this area right here where we've got a slight risk of some severe weather tonight. That's in the lower right. That's provided by Radar Omega. And the lower left is Flight Radar 24. And on there, we'll be tracking all of the flights in and around our area tonight. And that's what you're looking at right there. These are in real time. And I also can go flight level, and we can do a bunch of different things with this. So we'll be playing with that throughout the night as well. So that's what your three screens are there. VHF propagation map, radar, which I'll be flying around and seeing what's going on, because right now we do have a severe thunderstorm warning right now up near State College to the right of Pittsburgh. And so we're going to keep an eye on that on these situations. But right now, no tornado warnings nationwide. We do have a number of that is a tornado warning. Why did my colors change? Ooh, interesting. I'll have to fix that. That is a tornado warning. I usually use pink for the tornado warnings so they stand out and I make them blink. But it's not doing that. But I'll be working on that here in just a minute. The net's going to start here in about a minute, and I will be participating on the net. And since you won't be able to hear me on the radio participating on the net, because when I talk on the radio, the audio will not be received over the radio. So because of that, I will turn my mic up so that you guys can hear me when I reply on the net. I will be participating tonight on the net. And boy, I tell you, I'm going to be getting up into this radar tonight and figuring out what has happened, because there has definitely been a change here that I'm not aware of. I don't know what's going on here. So I'm going to fix it. It's not a big deal. Yeah, the colors have changed. I don't know why that is. I like to use this purple color, and I like to have it flash. Man, I don't know what has happened to all this. Well, we'll leave that alone right now. All right, and then this one I normally make red. Like I said, the net's starting in just a second, guys. This is going to be a Simplex net here in Southwest Florida. We're going to be talking about everybody's radios, and we're going to be talking about propagation and what people have done this week in amateur radio. So it's a pretty fun net. We have a lot of different things that we talk about in this net, and it's a lot of fun. So hopefully you guys will find it interesting. Here we go.
CQ. Welcome to the Cape Coral Gabfest. My name is John, and my call sign is November 6th, Juliet Delta Hotel. I'll be your host this evening, this first Thursday of May for the Cape Coral Gabfest. We meet on 146.490 Simplex at 8 p.m. local time every Thursday. We welcome any and all ham radio operators to join us. After check-ins, we go through 2 rounds of comments. So please remember to stick around for the second pass. As always, you may discuss anything you like. But our topic tonight is, how do you feel about the possible changes to the FCC licensing for ham radio operators? So let's see who we've got this evening. This is November 6th, Juliet Delta Hotel, and again, my name is John, and I'm calling for check-ins to the Cape Coral Gabfest. Please come now.
KO4 EFS, Ian in North Fort Myers.
Net control. KB4AR, Angela, North Fort Myers.
W8KZT, Rick.
Kilo 4, Romeo Alpha Bravo, Rick.
KI4 GEV, Charles.
Okay, we have Ian, and I believe that was KO4 EFS. Is that correct, Ian?
Yeah, that is correct.
The second person to check in, it was way too fast and your modulation was way too low. Can you go ahead and give me your call and your name, please? Thank you, Tim. And then I had a broken transmission, and I believe only was able to catch KE4AR. Was that correct? And I did not get a name.
Yeah, that's correct. KB4AR, name is Angela, North Fort Myers.
Okay, I got KE4AR, but I did not catch a name. Rick, with Whiskey 8 Kilo Juliet Tango, can you relay that for me?
Yeah, it's Angelo.
Okay, copy that, Angelo. And of course, then I've got Whiskey 8 Kilo Juliet Tango, Rick, K4 Romeo Alpha Bravo, Rick, and KI4 GED, Charles. Are there any other check-ins for the Cape Coral Gabfest? Come now.
Question.
Go ahead with your question.
So we can legitimately discuss the topic. What are the new licensing potentials or requirements now that have changed or are going to be or pending?
Well, it was a very good topic. I wasn't there, but I was talking to our president, and it was brought up there also, and it seems to be all over the internet. So I will touch that as soon as I get everybody checked in, so everybody has it at the same time. Is that okay?
Affirmative, thanks.
With that, are there any other check-ins for the Cape Coral Gabfest? Come now. None heard. This is November 6th, Juliet Delta Hotel, and I'll be your net control. The current proposed things that are being discussed, possibilities, is, and I don't recall what there's an old license that was given earlier between general and extra, and I don't know the exact name of that one. But there was novice, technician, general, that the one I don't remember, and an extra. They are currently looking at, and it's pretty much all over and being covered, to do away with that completely, and to have two classes. Which they're going to put in. They haven't decided on the names, but let's just say for sake of discussion, we have Class A. Class A would be novice and technician. Class B, for again the sake of discussion, would be general and above. So with that, I'd like some input and what people think. And I mean, the option is what they're saying is one of the topics that's coming up in their decision process is there appears to be a larger number of extras that are no longer extras, natural causes, and the number of generals that are going up is diminishing. And they're looking at the frequencies, and they're saying that, the diminished use, the diminished licensing, they're possibly either looking at selling those frequencies, so for other commercial use. So in order to gather more use on those other frequencies, they're looking at doing away with the current licensing guidelines and coming in with, for the sake of, this conversation, level A and level B. So with that, I'd like to open this up for discussion on tonight's first round, and only the first round. So with that, I will first open it up to, and I'll have to break here just for a minute to turn a page. The first up will be Kilo Oscar 4 Echo Foxtrot Sierra. Ian, go ahead, Ian.
KO4EFS. Yeah, we are live on YouTube as well. If anybody's having a hard time hearing, you can hear over there. There was only one station on the original check-ins that I couldn't hear here at my station. As far as this goes, I think the entire class system is antiquated and out of date. It amounts to gatekeeping. It equals bullying. It stifles free use of the allocations. And I'm never getting my extra. I don't believe in it. I can do everything I need to do with my general, and I would love to see this happen. And that way, it takes one more level of gatekeeping out of the whole ham radio thing. It opens it up for more people. I think the whole class system is stupid. I think there should be a basic test to get in, and then you're good to go. So I'm not really much on the whole testing system, to be honest with you. I think the government just needs to get out of it, allow people basic access, and then that's it. So that's my 2 cents on it. There's no reason to have parts of the bandwidth that I can't use and parts that someone else can use. It just doesn't make any sense. It's literally an antiquated form of gatekeeping that I don't think is necessary anymore. And that's what I have on that topic, KO4EFS.
Okay, Ian, I appreciate that. I'm not opening this up for any kind of argument or anything. Just looking at the different sides. Because myself, as a new ham radio operator, I've been studying for my extra, having that goal in mind. But I saw this come up, and I've been reading quite a bit about it, and I can see both sides from what I've heard so far. But with that, I appreciate your input there, Ian. And with that, I'm going to go to Whiskey 6, Whiskey. Tim, please, for your input.
Sorry, guys, I just can't get him. He's just outside my range here. I'm on a Comet GP9, and I'm at 40 feet, and I'm unable to hear that station. So, but we'll be past this in just a second to the next one. This is the Cape Coral Gabfest on Starship Adventures, broadcasting live from Southwest Florida from Starship Studios. And we are actually picking this up live simplex on our antenna here at the studio at 40 feet. And what we're basically hearing is direct communication from station to station. This is something that we like to do here in amateur radio. Repeaters are kind of like cheating a little bit, and we really like to get out there and do it radio to radio to see if we can do that. I'm just talking right now to fill time. On the screen, upper right, that is the current VHF propagation map. There's a little bit of tropo, something going on around Tampa, but not much. We're also watching currently a tornado warning right now. There's one of them. It looks like it's going to be in Pennsylvania, and we're going to be keeping an eye on that. Also, we've got our flight tracker up in the lower left, and we're watching the latest conditions here. We've got a K index of 3, which means that the geomagnetic field is somewhat disturbed, and the solar flux is fairly low for this time of the solar cycle. So with those two factors in mind, we're not going to get quite a good night of ionospheric, I should say, yeah, we're not going to get too much on like 20 meters, 40 meters when you get into the ionospheric bouncing and stuff, because right now we're not seeing it tonight. It's when the geomagnetic field gets, the K index gets up to 3 and even 4 and 5, it gets even more. It gets disturbed. And since it's reflecting our sounds, our radio waves back down to us, it's better if we can get it nice and calm. Man, this guy's talking, huh? All right, so there you go. I'm actually having AI run me some deep research right now on this whole point of multiple classes for amateur radio. I'm trying to see what I can come up with here. The stuff you can do with AI is absolutely amazing. The research I can do that used to take me days, and I would usually lose interest, or other things would take over my time. Now I can get them done because I can have this do the deep research, and it's done in 3 minutes or less, and I like that. Well, I don't know what's going on here. We seem to have lost everybody. Okay, well, I'm hoping that station we can't hear is continuing to talk, because I don't know what's going on here. It seems like I've lost everybody. And one we're talking about tonight is the amateur radio licensing used to have 5 or 6 classes. They keep reducing it, and they keep reducing it because it's not necessary anymore. It's a totally different animal than it used to be, and they used to have all these different classes. Now we're down to 3. There's technician, general, and extra. Extra and general can do all the same things, except general has a little bit of extra.
Triple whiskey. From my take of it, and what I've read and heard, that they will do away with the current classes, meaning novice and tech, general, advanced, and extra. And they will just, new licenses and classes will be whatever they decide, whether it be A or B or B or A or whatever they call it. But that's my take on it. It's a proposal only that that they are looking at. One of the things, there's one of a couple, but this is the one they seem to be taking 2 and 3 looks at. But with that, Tim, I appreciate that. And I'm going to need Whiskey 8 Kilo Zulu Tango to be a relay for me. And with that, we're going to go to Kilo Echo 4 Alpha Romeo Angelo. Angelo, you're up.
Yeah, good evening in the net, KB4AR. Angelo here. Yeah, tonight's topic's interesting, and I'm going to keep it short and sweet. It sounds like it would, they're going to a 2-tier system and just make things easier. And, yeah, there's no reason to have an extra with that little sliver of extra frequencies. Yes. Not really keeps a lot of people away from it. You really don't need it. So I'm an extra. I got it just because I want it. So, no reason otherwise. No reason to have it otherwise. So, anyways, I'll send it back to Ned and take before you up.
Okay, John. Angelo says that he sees that there's really no reason for to have it that the way it is. To have to go further with an extra class. Also, he had mentioned he is an extra himself, so that's the way he looks at it. So it looks pretty good for everybody. As far as I can hear, everybody's pretty much for that. So it sounds great. Okay, that's it right now, and back to you there, John.
Thank you for that relay, Rick and Angelo. Thank you for your input there. I mean, I look at it from what I'm able to see and hear and read that I think the focus is we save the frequencies and in lieu of having them sold for commercial reasons, which, you know, we know that they have done stuff like that. They have done that to other bands. But that's my take on it. And again, I'm just trying to gather information from the more seasoned ham radio operators in the club. So with that, Rick, it's going to be up to you. Whiskey 8, Kilo Zulu Tango. It's your time.
Okay, John. Well, hey, welcome everybody. It's great to hear everybody in there, and it sounds like you've got a good lineup here, and an excellent subject. I wish I'd had a little more time to prepare for it by reading a little bit up on it. But yeah, the advanced class was the one that they pretty much eliminated, even though it's still listed on the board as far as for additional frequency available. As Tim mentioned, is Spectrum. It's called Spectrum, so it get additional frequencies. But the one thing is I really agree with Tim wholeheartedly that really there's no reason to have an extra class. You know, the reason I'm a general, and the reason I'm not an extra class is because the majority of that stuff in the book is for digital stuff, and I could care less about digital stuff. I'm old school. I like to talk to people, and that's pretty much what I'd like to do. And I'd like to have the additional spectrum or frequencies available to me, you know, to be able to talk to more people all over the world. I mean, that's just plain and simple, and that's the way I look at it. But as far as going to a basic, you know, kind of let them all in type, maybe I'm misreading this, maybe without testing or anything like that, that would be very unreasonable, and you would end up with a amateur radio band conglomeration of nothing but a bunch of CBers, which would not be good. I mean, you'll have to admit that the mentality, I shouldn't say that. I should say the people that really want to use amateur radio as a great hobby and keep it very, very nice and legitimate. You know, they belong on the ham bands. They don't belong. The people with the CB mentality, they don't belong on here. And as maybe I'm off kilter, but that's just the way I feel about it. But yeah, I don't know if a lot of you guys don't know this, but Charles probably will remember this. When several years ago, I mean it's been a number of years ago, and I was not an amateur radio operator at the time, but I know for a fact that they had changed the classification of a lot of technician operators to general class, and it was just with the writing of the pen on the paper, and everybody, a lot of the people that were technicians became general, and I can't remember how that turned. I think it's because they eliminated the novice part of it, and I think it had a lot to do, even at the time, maybe with the use of CW. And Rick, you'll probably be able to tell us and really enlighten us on that for sure. But that may have been back then too. But I know that was changed, so I can see where this will come up. Now the other thing is what we're having here basically is another battle between the FCC and the ARRL. And I mean, we need to support ARRL in order to keep what we've got and possibly get the extra what we need to battle what the FCC wants to do by taking some of these spectrums into business class. Okay, John, thanks so much. N6, JDH, this is W8KZT, back to you.
W8KZT, Rick, thank you for that. You know, I have to somewhat agree with you here as far as having gatekeepers to, you know, a step you have to go through. It's to enter into the ham radio world as far as, you know, an exam or whatever. I have to agree. I don't want to see this opened up to everybody that can just go in to a store or order online and it isn't regulated. I do think we need to have some regulation on this, and I also see the side of the AARL, and I see the other side. So I mean, I'm just trying to gain knowledge here, and I appreciate everybody that has spoke on it so far, and I mean, I know we have two very seasoned ham radio operators that are going to give us, their opinion, and again, I respect all of it. So with that, I'm going to go to K4 Romeo Alpha Bravo. Rick, you're up.
Okay, this is K4RAB. Yeah, I have to admit to being caught a little blindsided by all of this. I usually tend to ignore rumors and what I call rumors and propaganda on the internet. So I do not know how serious they are about this. I know there was a general thing put out by the FCC about deleting regulations, and that's a directive from higher up to delete superfluous regulations. Well, I could go along with that. Now, I have an advanced class license. I've had one since 1977. But what I would say, I'm almost to the point of being for going ahead and keeping extra and grandfathering all the advanced class into the extra class band. Since they took away the CW requirement and everything, I really don't see why we have so many licensed classes. I think 3 is more than enough. I think it could be safely argued that 2 would be plenty. Class A and Class B, or whatever you want to call it. But I don't know enough about this as of yet to really be able to make a good offer a decent opinion. Like I said, I've been looking on the internet while I've been listening to you guys to see if I could find out anything additional, and so far I haven't found all that much. So anyway, don't know yet, so it's just something I'll be looking at. This is K4RAB, back to net.
Thank you, K4RAB. You did find that memo about that, I guess, down from one of the first sentences is delete, 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 delete. Did you find that one?
Yes, I did see that. I think this is kind of aimed at all radio services, and this is something to consider. I mean, broadcasting on down.
I also agree with you on that. And what I've been able to gather from it is that between the ARRL and other ham radio entities, they're worried about losing the frequencies because their claim is that there are fewer ham radio operators going for what's above general. And so instead of losing that allocation of frequencies and disposing of it maybe to the commercial or business side, they think that this way they could gather more interest in those frequencies by dropping down, like you said, 2 or 3. And the what I've been able to gather from it, they're looking at the 2. So I think that's what they're looking at. But again, there's not a lot out there, but you have to go to specific places to get it, and I will share some with you. Back to you, K4RAB. This is Net Control, November 6th, Juliet Delta Hotel.
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen much about this. I checked QRZ and EHAM and the league sites, and there's not much there as of yet. In a sense, this doesn't surprise me because I figure sooner or later, we don't really. How many license classes do you need? So if they could get it down to 2, a starting class, and then maybe a general class, that might be sufficient. But yeah, I would rather give those up and preserve the frequency spectrum. So. I don't know. I don't know yet what to say, simply because I haven't heard enough yet. So, all right. So I'm gonna send it back to you, K4RAB.
Thank you, K4RAB, Rick. Appreciate that input. Up next will be Kilo India 4 Golf Echo Delta. Charles, you've got the microphone.
Okay, thank you, John. Thanks for taking the net tonight. And let's see. I think that. W8KZT, Rick said he's volunteer for next week, so that's good there for sure. I don't have too much to add on that. I'm a no code tech. I mean, no code general. Actually, I got my license about 2004. Fairly, really a new, not a seasoned ham like K4RAB or Angelo's been into it a long time for sure. Also, so and then Tim, now he's done more contacts in a year than I've done in 20 years. So he's knows a lot about that. But I'm like Rick, KZT. I'm not interested in the digital and a general license. As far as I plan on going, I'm not going to study for all that other. Get too old for that studying stuff for sure. So that's all I can add to it. See what happens on the license and all that. But it's a good subject and interesting to see what's really going on. So I'll send it back to you, John. N6JDH. This is KI4GED.
KI4GED. Thank you, Charles, for that input. And before we move on, I'm going to check on this. And this is, are there any late check-ins, rechecks, or anyone want to add anything to the topic before we move on? Come now. I'll say again, are there any late check-ins or anybody want to add anything to the net tonight? Come now. All right, nothing heard. With that, on round two, we're going to stay away from that topic, but on round two, what have you done this week? Simplex, repeaters, HF, digital, everything. What have you done this week regarding ham radio? And if you have any new purchases in the shack, or in the car, or in the field. So with that, we're going to go back to number one, EO4, or Kilo Oscar 4, Echo Foxtrot Sierra. Ian, you've got the microphone.
KO4EFS. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. The main thing I wanted to talk about with tonight as far as ham radio is nothing, because I haven't done much of anything this week because I've been trying to get my computer back together. I had some kind of boot sector error on my terabyte solid state drive, and I've still got all the data, but it caused the operating system to be unsavable. And so I've had to put a new hard drive in and put a new operating system in, and I'm still getting back to where I can produce videos and stuff. So it's been about a 7-day setback so far, and I'm not done yet. So it hasn't been great, but there's not really much I can do about it. As far as purchases, yeah, I did. I made a purchase that's basically for ham radio. I'm taking all these old computers that I've had in here banging, and I'm slowly replacing them now. I'm down to the last two. I'm replacing them with one of these HP thin clients with the Rosin 5 chips in them. I've had such good luck with them. We use them at work. And I now own 7 of them. And I'm going to be on Saturday switching over all 4 or 5 of my Broadcastify feeds over to a single computer that will do all of the work. And I got a new sound card I'm testing out right now on the broadcast. And so there we go. I will see how this goes, but that's what I'm working on. I also just took delivery of a couple of smaller studio lights, which I'm really happy with so far as well. So we'll see how that goes. But that's what I have. I'm hoping to get to do a little more with ham radio. I just wanted to put this out there. I want to start doing more with 2-meter sideband. And if I can find 3 or 4 or 5 guys out there that want to do it, maybe after this net at night, we can meet over on sideband or something. I'm just throwing it out there. I'd be glad to help them coordinate it or whatever, but I just thought it would be kind of cool to maybe go over and if we can find enough of us that can do it, we can do it vertically or horizontally polarized, whatever. Just wanted to put that out there. I'm having a lot of fun with 2-meter sideband. So KO4 EFS.
Appreciate that, Ian. Appreciate that. I know that you're well involved in this hobby, and it's probably become a serious passion of yours. But with that, I know Whiskey 6, Whiskey did a POTA last weekend. So, Tim, you have the microphone, sir.
All right, and there we go. We can't hear whiskey, whiskey, whiskey. I'm going to have to get my directional out or something and see if there's something we can do to boost this. There is a little bit of an opening in the middle part of the state there coming in from North Carolina, from the Outer Banks. So that's kind of interesting. We're watching that. We've also got storm chasers up that are chasing down here. Let's see, where are they at here? Near Waco. They're south of Waco, north of Austin. We've got 3 storm chasers on the ground, and it looks like I've got another stationary cam. Look at that. That's a nice shot on that stationary cam. So I'm going to put that one down here in place of this one that is not working right now. So there we go. All right. Yeah, you can see that storm front really coming through there on this stationary cam. Look at that. I'm going to go full down here so you can see it coming across there. That's pretty cool. You can see the wind blowing there. That's going to be in Texas near Austin. And that is the storm system taking over what is going to be the sunset here in a few minutes out there in Texas, where I think it's 7:31 there right now. All right, and while Whiskey's talking, we're not able to hear him, so I'm just talking for just a minute. All the tornado warnings have been allowed to expire. There was only, I think, one just recently. It has been allowed to expire, and so we are continuing to watch this area here. There is this green, you can see this green outline. That area has a slight chance of severe weather tonight. There is no outbreak of any kind of severe weather expected tonight, just so you guys know. Not gonna happen. Not gonna. And they should be coming back up here in just a second, and we'll be able to hear the rest of the net. There's just the one guy, Whiskey. I can't hear him. And anyway, as far as news, there's meteor showers and the magic of 10 meters. I put up an article earlier today about reflecting your radio signals off of the gases that are put out by meteors coming into the atmosphere, and it's a great story if you're into that kind of science. And also another story I released today on both of my YouTube channels and Facebook, the big blackout that happened. We've been wondering what's, Spain and Portugal plunged in the darkness. What happened? Well, come to find out, it has to do with when you get too much solar panels and too many wind devices on the grid. What happens is there's not enough acceleration capacity there in order to ramp up when you need to. And they had all their nuclear stuff was offline because a lot of it's being decommissioned, a lot of it's being moved to second out status. And so what's basically happened is they went a little too green, a little too quick, because they really weren't able to address a sudden voltage loss on the system, and it caused a blackout that took out the power for one country and the better part of another one and part of a third. And finally, we've got the Cosmos 482, a Russian probe that was supposed to land on Venus, has finally returned to Earth and is going to re-enter the atmosphere.
Thank you, Whiskey.
We'll talk about that later.
Whiskey, Tim. I agree with you, and I'm going to sort of direct us back over to POTA. It was probably a good thing you were out last weekend, because the bands have been terrible this week. I mean, you have to literally work your tail off to get 30, and I mean, and it's just tough, and it's very frustrating. But they've been down, just in the condition that they've been in. But anyway, appreciate your input there, Tim. And with that, Rick, I'm going to need you to relay again for Kilo Echo 4 Alpha Romeo. Angelo, you have the microphone, sir.
Oh, good evening once again. KB4AR here. Let's see, what have I done with ham radio this week? Well, for those of you who know, I've talked to them about getting FT8 up and running. Well, I have it up and running, and I've been having a blast with it. I didn't know how much I'd like it. Turns out I really like it. For us voice-challenged people, it's perfect. And what's nice about it is I can sit here on the net, and I'm doing FT8 right now as well. I'm having some good contacts, and been here for a few hours playing with it. So I'm really enjoying it. So I'll send it back to the KB4AR.
Okay, thanks, Angelo. Appreciate that. Well, Angelo's really not been doing a whole lot with radio this week, other than he's got his FT8 started up and working on that, and he's having a blast doing that. And even as we are talking right now, he's doing that and making contacts. So he's having a great time. So that wraps up his week with the radio.
Thank you for the relay, Rick. FT8 is something I'm still researching and reading about and working on setting it up with the computer and my 7100. So that's something that's on my list of to-do. But I appreciate that, and I appreciate Angelo, and I appreciate you relaying. Is there anything else for Angelo that he would like to add to the net tonight?
No, that's about it. I'm just been doing FT8, and that's it. So back to that.
He said, no, that's pretty much it. He's just going to be working with FT8, and that's all he's got to say.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that relay. Before we move on to Rick, I want to give you a little bit of an update on our friend, our good friend, Alfalfa 4 Juliet Sierra. I talked with him on the phone today. He hasn't had the surgery that he was supposed to have last Tuesday, last Friday, and then he was going to have it this Tuesday. He still hasn't had it. He's still in the hospital. He does have his phone, and he can unlock it now. I unlocked his phone for him. So with that, please, during the daytime, if you want to try to call him, go ahead. If you want to say hello or just talk to him and tell him you're thinking of him, feel free. He's not real sure he can reply to texts, though. So if you don't have his number, reach out to me on the side, and I'll gladly share it. So anyway, moving on. Whiskey 8 Kilo Zulu Tango. Rick, you've got it. Go.
Well, super. Sounds like John's looking up just a little bit. That's great. And I agree with John there. Anybody that can give him a call, boost him up a little bit, get him more involved with what's going on, with the radio stuff, and that's something that he really, really loves, and I think it'll really help him out a tremendous amount. Well, going on with the other stuff, one thing about this, somebody was mentioning, about the international and opening it up that way, and having international stuff coming in this way and us going that way. The thing is it's against the bylaws now for us to interfere with anything internationally as far as to, for foreign services and broadcasts and stuff like that. But I'll have to admit, I think it was just this last week, since the last time we met, I was on 40 meters just moving up and down the band with my A3S, my vertical out. And I heard a guy that was talking. Now, 40 meters is lower sideband. He was on a frequency just a hair to the right of this foreign broadcast station. So he definitely was interfering, and I am really surprised someone didn't say anything about it. So enough about that. But anyway, one thing I think what's happening also with the fact that nothing has changed with the frequency allocations is I think we're losing a lot of people due to the restrictions of the frequencies because of all of the congestion and clutter. I mean, you can get on 20, it doesn't go to all bands, but on 20 meters in particularly, it gets pretty daggone congested, especially on weekends. I don't even bother turning it on in most cases unless I just want to come in and hit a couple of guys with a PO to help them out with their numbers. But that's just my personal opinion. One thing I want to mention also, the swap shop will be next weekend. It'll probably be opening at 11 o'clock as usual. But we're also having the FMARC picnic there at that same location. It's going to be running from 12 to 2. And if anybody wants to come there and has not made any indication that they're going to be there, please do so, because getting all the names and everything tallied up before that time makes it dependent upon how much food that they order for the picnic. So please do that. And also, again, I'm going to mention that you all are going to be totally impressed with the turnaround and the presentation of the swap shop. It's going to be much to a pleasant surprise to everybody that hasn't been there for a while. So please come over and take a look at it. Matter of fact, Bill White, myself, I think Carmine, and also Bud will be there again tomorrow, and we're cleaning up the rest of the stuff, and hopefully we're going to be right at the threshold of being finished. So I think that's all I've got right now. If I think of anything else, I'll irritate everybody a little bit later. This is W8 KZT.
Thank you, Rick. W8KZT, thank you for that. Thank you for the reminder on the weekend event for the FMARC. Appreciate that. And moving on, we have Kilo 4, Romeo Alpha Bravo. Rick, you've got the microphone.
Okay, this is K4REB. Well, what have I been doing the last week? Well, we did the Florida QSO party last week. I pushed myself into calling CQ and made 171 contacts doing that. Me and my computer and my wind keyer and all that good stuff. But I did it with the KX3 and the little amplifier, which I've been working on. It's a little amplifier, kicks it up to about 50 watts, which is all I need for CW. But anyway, and then I just bought the antenna tuner for that particular amplifier, and I'm working on getting that put it in, but I've got little issues with it, but got to work on that. But and of course we've been doing the weekly CW drills, the CWT, the MST, the slow speed tests, and all that good stuff. So that's about it for all I've been doing, is just working on that, working on this little thing here in the shack with the amplifier. But that it's not a kilowatt, it's just takes your QRP rig up to 50 watts, and that's about as high as I go for that. So anyway, let's reset here. Okay, SK4REB for ID. The thing I would say about all of this is the FCC, every once in a while they go, and every so often, one of the things as I was reading is they reassess the whole body of regulations every so often, and this is the time for that to come up. The other thing I would say is don't get all worried about this until we hear something official. There's a lot of rumors and propaganda on the internet, so a lot of it I tend to take with a grain of salt until I really hear something definite. So, but I say keep an eye on it and that kind of thing, but don't get too worried about it. So with that, back to net K4REB.
K4RAB, November 6th, Juliet Delta Hotel, net control. Tell us about this 50-watt amp for your K3. Is that also an Elecraft amp? Back to you.
No, it's outfit. It's called Hot Rock 50. It's made by a guy up in Clearwater. It's let's see, the site is hobbypcb.com. And they make a bunch of interesting things, but this little amplifier costs a lot less than the Elecraft. The Elecraft one is just out of sight, so yeah, I'm sure it's a fine amplifier, but it's just way too expensive. So, but this is another producer. This guy won an amplifier designing contest for a small amplifier a few years ago, and so he's making it commercially. So that's what I've got. It's called the Hot Rock 50. This is K4REB.
K4RAB, November 6th, Juliet Delta Hotel. Is it seamlessly connect to the K3 like the Elecraft would, or do you have to do any certain modifications?
No, it fits seamlessly. It's set up. It interconnects with the KX3. I'm using it with the KX3. It'll also work with the K2, but with the KX3, you get automatic band switching, and it also will work with you when you're using the KX3 with the computer to do logging. So you do not have, it works with it pretty well. You just have to set it up the way the instructions say to, and it works great.
Oh, thank you for that. I mean, knowledge is key, but I know that, when it comes to CW, you stay on top of it for sure. And that seems like I watched you at the Florida QSO party. I believe you were there behind me when Jennifer and I were working on Bob's 710. Is that correct?
Yeah, he has a 710. In fact, I bought his KX3 because he wanted the 710. But yeah, I got him on Sunday, so that's when I had the QSO with him.
Oh, roger that. Well, I appreciate your input here, and really appreciate the knowledge that you offer us in this net. But moving on, we have the King of Kings, the Kilo India 4, Golf Echo Delta, Charles. Can we call you King Charles of the Gabfest?
Well, good evening again. No, I don't think I need that title for sure. And let's see, this year you're doing a good job here. Appreciate that, and good with the double subjects there. I haven't done anything this week other than the Cape Coral Gabfest and the Loggerhead net. So only two nets I've been on. I haven't done HF. I didn't even listen to the Old Goats Traders net, the Florida Traders net this past week on 75 meters. It's good hearing Angelo, Kilo Bravo 4, Alpha Romeo's Angelo in North Fort Myers. And haven't seen him lately because I haven't been at the swap shop. And let's see, his neighbor, I used to work with his neighbor for many years, and I haven't seen him lately either. I did give him a call. But I don't have anything else to add. But I hope everybody has a safe week, good week. We'll hope to hear you again next week on the Cape Coral Gabfest. So I'll say 7-3 to all and turn it back to you, John. N6JDH, this is KI4GED.
KI4GED, N6JDH. I appreciate that, Charles. And I hope you know I was only razzing you about the four-letter word before your first name. But anyway, you're definitely a mentor towards all of us. And with that, I'd like to remind everybody that, help everybody. Step up, and, I had AA4JS tell me that hams help hams. And, the first time he mentioned that to me, it has stuck with me. Even though you're new, you have something you can offer, and you can help somebody that's also new and coming up behind you. But we learn so much from each other in this hobby that it's invaluable that we share our knowledge. I appreciate next week that we have Whiskey 8 Kilo Zulu Tango Rick taking over the net. I will be gone the week after that, just so you know, Rick. So with that, before we close the net, is there anybody that would like to say anything? This is November 6th, Juliet Delta Hotel.
KO4 EFS comment.
Go ahead, KO4 EFS.
Yeah, I just wanted to put this out there. While the net's been going on, I've been using ChatGPT in deep research mode, and I've given it the parameters to search for anything out there using the ARRL, the FCC, and any other websites out there to find any mention of this at all. And I'm wondering if this isn't some kind of rumor, because everything I'm looking at here, at least there's been nothing official filed, and it hasn't really been discussed. So if anybody, I ask everybody, if anybody gets anything on this, please forward it to my email address. My call letter is ko4efs@gmail, or you can send it through my YouTube channel. I do answer all of the comments in there, but I'm looking for anything on this right now. I'll do a video on it, but right now ChatGPT, after about 15 minutes of research, is telling me that that it's just a rumor. So there you go. I don't know. Been good to listening to everybody tonight. Thanks for being here. KO4 EFS.
Thank you for that, Ian. It was a topic that made it back to me at Lunch Bunch today, and I was talking with the club president, and he was mentioning some of it to me. And I know that there's some areas discussion on a couple of the forums, and I'll search that out and get it back to you. But I know that there's input being given and all that kind of stuff. And but specifically, have they come right out and said that they're going to do this? No, there's just suggestions flying back and forth, mostly towards them. But thank you for that, Ian. Is there anybody else that has any comments before I close the net tonight? This is November 6th, Julie at Delta Hotel, your net controller.
Yeah, comment.
Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, it's WAKZT here. One thing I wanted to mention, maybe a lot of people, well, I know a lot of people that are on this net don't participate in the monthly meeting of the FMARC, which is called MODA. And after that, they have a traders thing, and then also they have what they call the newbie net. And Larry N1NQU runs that in most cases. And I noticed that last Monday, they had a really neat program going on there where they were trying to get people to listen and understand what CQ, or not CQ, but what CW sounded like, and how to understand what the tones sound like to transfer them into letters and words. And I don't know if Rick, RAB, was involved with that or not, but if he was, I'd like to hear something from him that he may elaborate a little bit about what went on there. So other than that, I think the other thing is, if you really want to know anything about this, Ian, and you want to do a little bit of research, get a hold of the district rep from ARRL here in South Florida, and I'm sure they could square us away right away. This is W8KZT. Good evening to everyone.
Thank you, W8KZT. Rick, K4RAB, do you have any input to the session that N1NQU did on the newbie net last week?
Yeah, this is K4RAB. Yeah, I was involved in that. Basically, the discussion was about slow code versus very much faster code, and how difficult it is. Some of us that are used to hearing it at a fairly high rate of speed had difficulty decoding it when they were going real slow. When he went to at his higher speeds, I had no trouble. I could decode it in my head and actually remember what the sentence was that he sent. But when he went real slow, I like to say, look at that and say, I'm going to sleep between the dits and the das, and when that happens, that's no good. So that was the main focus of the discussion, was how it's more effective to learn the sounds at a faster rate. It's better to hear the letters of the alphabet at, say, 20 words a minute, even if you space them far enough such that it's 5 words a minute. But basically, it's what's called Farnsworth method. But the idea is to get accustomed to the sounds and not be counting dits and das. And that's the big thing we were talking about. So I guess that's what you're looking for. This is K4RED, back to net.
K4RED, W8KZT, was that what you recall? Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, that was pretty much it. I was just going to say, if there's anybody that you know that's relatively new in amateur radio, I think it's a really good idea for them to participate in that newbie net on Monday evenings. The monthly meeting on the air starts at 7, and I think probably that don't last maybe 20 minutes, if that. And then they take a 5-minute break, and then Larry comes on. So I think it'd be a good opportunity for a lot of the new people to get involved with that. And I really want to get more people involved with this because I hope we can get a more directive towards something like the NewbieNet involved with our curriculum that we have here, and get more people involved, and give them what Larry puts on there, no real intense mic time. It's something where you don't have to worry about saying something dumb. You're here to learn. That's the whole point. So if we can even be part of that, that would be a terrific idea. So hey, good evening to everybody. John, great job this evening. Be looking forward to hearing everybody next week and even more, hopefully.
Yeah, I appreciate that, WAKZT. I know last week on the NewbieNet, K4RAB was the only one that was able to decipher the Morse code that N1NQU transmitted. And I think, if I recall correctly, it was welcome to the Fort Myers Amateur Radio Club NewbieNet. Is that correct, Rich?
I think it was something like that. I don't remember the exact wording now. Of course, that's a couple, 3 days ago, but it was something to that effect anyway. K4REB.
I agree, but it was something to that. Well, anyway, is there anybody else that has anything for the net before I close the net this evening? Thanks, everyone, for checking in tonight and supporting the Cape Coral Gabfest. It is always a pleasure hearing everyone. Have a safe, healthy week, and hope to hear you all next week. 73s to all. This is November 6th, Juliet Delta Hotel, closing the Cape Coral Gabfest and returning this frequency to normal amateur radio use. Good night, everyone.
Good night, John.
Good night, and thanks for taking the nets, K4REB.
Yeah, everybody have a good night.
See you, Angelo. You better show up at the swap shop.
Well, yeah, I'll certainly try. It's been a while.
Yeah, everybody's been waiting for you. W8KZT. Oh, hey, John and everybody. Does everybody remember this? Good night, David. Good night, Chet.
Good night, Mary Ellen, John Boy.
Good night, all. KB40R.
Yeah, way before them, wasn't it, Rick?
Yeah, that was back in the old black and white TV days, K4REB.
Yeah, buddy. A lot of people wouldn't remember that. That and, what was it? Darn. Now I can't remember his name. I'll have to think about it a second.
Yeah, I always used to laugh when we'd see and they'd come on and show the NBC Peacock and show the following program is brought to you in living color on NBC. And of course, the old black and white just stayed black and white. K4REB.
It sure did it? Oh, I forgot about that. That was funny. Yeah, Chet Huntley and David Brinkley. That was their names. I was trying to think of the other guy on the other station. Darn, he was more prominent than them guys.
Walter Cronkite.
Yeah, that's it.
We used to call him Walter Concrete.
He's kind of stone-faced, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, he was stone-faced. Well, remember Brodford Crodrick? What was it? Brodford Crodrick. Now I can't remember his name.
You sound like the guy trying to introduce Herbert Hoover.
Yeah, Broderick Crawford. That's it, Broderick Crawford. Remember him?
No, I sure don't.
He was on that show called Highway Patrol.
Okay.
Yeah, and everybody's call sign was 2150, 2145.
No, we had a duplicate. What was that? Go ahead.
I said, yeah, and everybody's call sign up in the cards are either 2150, that's Roger Crawford's or whatever.
Yep, that's right. That used to be a great show. Gosh, there were so many good ones, but that's a topic I was going to bring up.
Well, I got to watch those during the day when I was homesick from school.
Oh yeah, I remember them days. Jeez, I had plenty of them.
Okay, next net's coming on. This is K4REB.
Rick, have a good one, buddy. W8KZT.
And have a good one, everybody. KB4AR.